Thank you, Narendra, and all the leaders of promoting traditional systems of medicine and systems of knowledge. I celebrate all your contribution you made to the sustaining this initiative at this level. So Narendra asked me to speak about whether design thinking, which is so prevalent in innovation area, does it have any relevance in AYUSH? And that's where I try to put some thoughts together to the presentation format. If you look at this picture of three faces of the Rembrandt, these are the painting, which is very popular painting. Rembrandt, French painter, painted it. These are three portraits of his own. But if you observe the painting, the three eyes are not to each other. So they are facing outwards. And I believe that when the multiple systems of knowledge don't see eye to each other and see outwards, it leads to a complexity, which is overlapping complexity, where various systems of knowledge go over and above each other or crisscross each other. And I'll take third picture. If I look at the birds, they are migratory birds. They are the birds which are crow, parrots. Everybody else sit on the same tree. How they share the same spot? Most of the time, every animal kingdom we share, and we have our own box or space to live in, while the birds are the only animal or in living organism which doesn't have a boundaries. I thought of it. My reaction was whether it is because of three-dimensional space they live in versus we as a human being live in two-dimensional space and we create boundary around ourselves. So there's a boundary of Ayurveda, there's a boundary of allopathy, there's a boundary of homeopathy, there's a boundary of Siddha. So these are all various boundaries get created. While to the customer whom we are serving, he needs a solution for his ailment which he might have got it. So how do you do the boundaryless thinking using design thinking approach is my topic of today. So the way I see the whole problem statement is that there's a one human body with 11 systems, which we are talk about, endocrine system to nervous system to cardiovascular system, lymphatic, urinary, skeleton, integumentary, reproductive, digestive, respiration, muscular. So if there are 11 systems of the body are there, and these are the various systems of medicine which is there on the blue circles. There's a Ayurveda, there's a yoga, there's a modern medicine, homeopathy, naturopathy, Unani, Siddha. Now various systems of medicine have tried to solve these many internal problems. And if I look at it, is next slide, that who are my customer and what are their needs? I would say the children, which would be infants, child, as adolescent, their needs, physiological need, the youth, the mental, emotional, physiological, the woman, the pregnancy, malnutrition, post-pregnancy, elderly, mental, emotional, physiological, disabled people, physically challenged people. These are my customers to whom I'm trying to solve the problem. And if I try to draw three circles, what is my ailment? Who is my beneficiary? And what is the system of medicine? Which is the intersection of all three, which can be the space of preventive, it can be in space of diagnostic, it can be in space of curative, surgical, or chronic method of treatment. I need to understand the complexity, which system of medicine will be suitable for various elements. So like diagnostic systems of today, which is very scientifically image-based systems, versus my knowledge-based system or my pulse-based systems are various diagnostic system which is there. And in what situation the pulse-based system is superior to my imaging-based systems. We need to understand and what is the impact they create, an intersection of this. So design thinking is trying to discover the yellow space between ailment, beneficiary, and system of medicine. If we can clearly articulate the value from which system of medicine which contribute there, can be helpful for all of us. Let me take it from here that what is the design thinking? Design thinking is about human desirability. So the beneficiary has a desirability that he wants a preventive health, he wants a well-being, that's a desirability. Now, what is the technology which makes it feasible? All the systems of medicines and their knowledge systems is a technology which is available to us. Now, to make it viable, I need to have a right viability. As somebody mentioned that the public health system, AYUSH becomes a critical piece because the lowest cost with Harpal Garden, as Narendra puts it, 11 hubs at the family level and 25 hubs at the community level. It makes our life simple. It makes it viability is there. So this is when human, technology, and business intersect and you experience it, this experience is a viability part of it. If I look at it today, a lot of medicine systems which are there, there's a mystery around it. If normal intellectual, if I'm an engineer in working in intellect or IT industry or any executive, I don't see a clarity of the algorithm. I see the mystery there. I see a lot of WhatsApp messages are around Ayurveda, a lot of messages around Siddha. So I see a lot of messages. But what we need to do as a group over here, which Narendra has initiated this international conference, is to drive heuristics out of it. And from heuristics, when it becomes a algorithm, then it becomes scalable, it becomes sustainable. So if you have to go to the 250,000 panchayat in India, I need to convert this AYUSH method into algorithm. For how do I do it? I need to understand the requirement of the society and the panchayat as rural India. What is the requirement which they are saying the requirements are there and what is unstated? Stated means if the COVID is there, there is a stated requirement, but unstated is in a preventive manner, if I do yoga or art of living or using some herbs in my regular food habits, those are my unstated requirements. Then I observe the patterns and anti-patterns. Patterns and anti-patterns means I will be observing that what works in Ayurveda, what works in Siddha, what works in homeopathy, in which scenarios they will be working very well, and which scenario they don't work very well. So each system of knowledge would have some 1,000 gram impact items where the impact will be high. And some places it may not be working, which is anti-pattern. So if I get into each system of knowledge and identify there are 7 patterns, which is the best in class, best in world. Nobody can compare, nobody can compete in those areas of Ayurveda. They are best in Siddha, that these are best in Unani, these are best in homeopathy. I need to observe those patterns. And then I need to connect the dot. Connect the dot between AYUSH, connect the dot between AYUSH and modern medicine. And during this process, I need to unearth the blind spot. Blind spot, I don't know what I don't know. Sometimes a lot of elements have come in, a lot of tools and techniques and technologies have evolved. How do I use those tools and technologies of various nature? Can I use in Ayurveda? Can I use in Siddha? Can I use in homeopathy? I need to look at it. What are the blind spots for each one of us? The 3 laws of design thinking. First is we need to pick up less is more. If you want to make it sustainable, we have to look at it. What is the technology? What is the knowledge packets which we want to promote all over India? 250,000 panchayat, 130 crore people. You need less is more. I need to identify 10 gram, 100 gram, 1000 gram impact. What are the elements which are 1000 gram impact? If Kada is a 1000 gram impact, then 1000 gram impact has been achieved in a COVID situation. And third is last 2% is 200%. So it's not about 98%. When the things become popular, when we are saying Ayurvedic has to become popular and ubiquitous for addictive adoption, I need to focus on last 2%. We are focusing up to 90%. I think my personal belief is we are focusing up to 70-80% of spreading and understanding and distributing the knowledge. There are very few experts, maybe 1,000, maybe 5,000 experts maybe there in India who can really speak about it. But I think this, if you need to make it a ubiquitous national level agenda, then we need to make it so simple where 92% becomes 200%. So these are 3 laws of design thinking. Less is more. theory of prioritization. Last 2% is 200%. For doing this, we may have to bring the common like-minded people from every sphere of system of knowledge together. It's a big task. I has attempted today to create an international conference of AYUSH where all the experts of various disciplines are coming together. And there's a science behind it. There's a 5-step process behind it. I conduct these workshops for national level youth engagement and many other industry segments. We use it for Mission Samriddhi. Let me just take you through the suggested process for just bringing awareness to you. This is not a design thinking session. We can do a separate design thinking session, which may require 4 hours of time of the people who want to participate in a process of design thinking with, and I can be facilitator because I'm not an expert. I don't know much about AYUSH. I'm an engineer by nature. I'm a technologist by nature. I'm a process teacher for the design thinking, so I can participate as a facilitator in doing it. The first step of design thinking, when we go to the step of design thinking, we look at it cartographic view. The whole system of what I mentioned in the beginning, there's a beneficiary, there's an ailment, and there's a system of knowledge. How 3 things can come together and create a cartographic map. It's like putting everything on a map. And for drawing this map, I need to understand who is my customer or my customers, understanding of holistic landscape of the ailments, understanding holistic landscape of existing solutions, which you worked over the period of time, which traditionally working from hundreds of years. What are those solutions? And organize the complex knowledge in a structured way. Then I create some structure of doing it. Rather than all the knowledge which is hidden behind the various complex vocabulary, whether the vocabulary is Sanskrit, vocabulary is Latin, vocabulary is Roman, vocabulary is Arabic. I need to bring a common vocabulary to the AYUSH vocabulary. And then I develop frames for capturing new knowledge, which everybody in the group will try to bring in a framework. But there has to be frames under which we bring the knowledge. Let me share with you next slide that how we try to do it for holistic development, where we look at it that for the rural development, I need 7 rings. I need the value system of society, I need beneficiary, I need quality of life enablers, I need natural resources management, I need drivers, I need enabling system and governance and impact. If these 7 levers on the left side I need, then these are the sub-elements of that, where these are the values, which is the inner ring. Then there's a next ring, which is who are the beneficiary, then what are their needs are, and what are their natural resource management is. So these 7 rings we created by engaging 150 people in the society who are working with rural India. And it took 2 days for us to design this catalyst wheel. And this becomes our compass of development. Then we simplified further. We said that for rural development, we need personal development of the people who wants to bring a change in themselves. They have to move to growth mindset. They have to have personal values, their behavioral change. They need to align with the cultural heritage, constitutional values. Then social development is around integrated education, health and nutrition, village infrastructure, social justice. Then economic development, then ecological sustainability, then planning, governance and execution, and stakeholder management. So now this is the framework D1 to D7. We created a frame under which we store the best patterns, best practices, and the practices which doesn't work over there. So all these elements which are close to complexity of various 29 sectors have been brought into a structured fashion, and with cataloging that. So D21 is a catalog for education. Then we further divide D21.1, which becomes my next level decomposition, and I get a wired knowledge out of it. Then what we do is, if I do a cartographics, I will say B1 is Ayurveda, B2 is Yoga, B3 is Unani, B4 is Siddha, B5 is Homeopathy, B6 is Allopathy. Then what is my macro understanding of the solution? Then I go to level 1 of it in next detail. Then I go to next details of L2 level. And then I go to L3 details, what is suitable for it. And everything is cataloged. that this is the ailment, this is where it fits into it, and this is a solution for it. So from ailment to solution can be designed in a L1, L2, L3 part. So this is the first part of my cartographic view on design thinking when I want to design and bring the people together of various. As of now, I heard in AYUSH still people are in talks in a block. So there is a specialization coming in. We need to get 5 experts in each area or 7 experts in each area, and then let them sit down together for rural health. Based on this, step 2 is we identify the big opportunity by defining the clear problem. Over here, we need to understand stated and unstated requirement of identified customer. If rural India is my customer, what is their stated and unstated? I make a list of the items. I observe what works, what are the patterns. I observe what doesn't work, anti-patterns, and let's listen to what is not said, my blind spots. So this is the area when I start looking at it to identify the clear problem, and then document questions for observation. If survey is required, I'll do a survey at this stage. I need to choose a taxonomy, level 1, level 2, level 3, and I will have a right question, effective question to design so that I get the right answers for the right question. Next step is brainstorming and idea generation. I will look at it to sit down in a room with the whiteboards where everybody is think like a child, and he start creating ideas. He's like sitting in a school groups, and though we are an expert, but this is like a beginner's mind to generate the idea. We don't generate the ideas from expert mind, but generate the ideas from the beginner's mind. And we need to bring some younger people into the whole room to discuss and design the brainstorming. Over here, we bring multiple expertise and multiple perspective at the same time to generate ideas, challenge existing assumptions and biases. So we all come with the existing assumptions and biases. We need to hold it for some 3-4 hours phase, pick up ideas from existing best practices, build on new ideas by connecting the existing best practices. Based on this, collect the best practices, generate ideas, and create possibilities. So this step will result into, which is the step 3, it creates the possibilities of convergence. It creates the possibilities between Siddha is working in particular fashion, where somebody was mentioning the Vat Pitta, the 3 elements which is taken in Ayurveda, the 4th element of blood is taken in Siddha, or Unani has some other element, and homeopathy has a certain other way of looking at the things. I create possibility among all of it, along with modern medicine. So there's nothing wrong in a modern medicine. It has to be integrated together. Once I get a lot of ideas, then I need to pick up convergence. So first, step 3 was divergence. Step 4 is convergence. This is a time when we need to make decisions. Over here, we need to make decisions to bring out what is most relevant and how do we execute them. So for this step, I do affinity clusters from ideas. So I create ideas and create affinity clusters so that number of clusters could be 9 or 10 clusters can be there. Then each cluster I weigh between 10 gram, 100 gram, 1000 gram idea. So I weigh the idea whether the impact will be 1000 gram, impact will be 100 gram. So we will have 11 herbs to be chosen out of 100 herbs, that which are the 1000 gram herbs which creates a impact in common life with the 1000 gram herbs. I classify the idea into quick, bold, and long lasting. So some ideas could be implemented in six months, some ideas can be implemented 3 years, and some ideas are meant for next 10 years. And then we make a few choices. We have to delete some ideas so that we focus on limited manner. And it's a time of collaboration and iterative prototyping. So we have to run this thought process multiple times, because something will work, something will not work. Something will work in UP and Bihar, something will work in Tamil Nadu and Karnataka, something will work in Jharkhand and Bihar, something will work in Maharashtra and Gujarat. So different things will work different places. We need to collaborate and do the prototyping of this. Once we do a prototyping, after 6 months, 9 months, we need to design a story. A story is like a movie. The story like Lagan, the movie where we bring this concept of AYUSH in day-to-day life. And for designing a story, I need to use keywords on whiteboard or Jamboard which describe feelings behind the solutions. Like the way movie script is written, same way I need to write down the key words which rings the bell in the listener mind. I design the headline for the problem it solves in the language of the identified segment. So which customer I'm segmenting? If I'm solving the problem for women, I need to pick up the language in Hindi or in Gujarati or in Marathi or in Tamil or in Telugu, which is the headline for them. Then I design the wireframes and package the communication. After that, I can design the AV story presentation, the language of the customer. This is the time we need to do selling process. There's nothing less than selling the story. We need to sell the story. So this is a 5-step process: cartography, define the clear problem, brainstorming, idea generation, convergence, and design a story. Subodhi, I'll just answer your questions. So some thoughts and questions, which I'll leave it to you for this group for next 2 days. Who are my real customers for AYUSH system of medicine? How do I connect various therapies among Ayurveda, Yoga, Unani, Siddha, and Homeopathic for what kind of ailments? What are the opportunities to connect AYUSH and modern medicine? So there's question number 2 and question number 3 is first to connect within the AYUSH, and second is opportunity to connect with the modern medicine. Can we have a simplified framework-based approach for AYUSH-based knowledge management systems and dissemination? Can we design our story with clarity, why, where, what, and how of AYUSH better than anybody else in the world? What is we are best in the world? We need to pick up 2 stories or 5 stories or 7 stories which we are best in the world. And we need to have, all of us should be having a 100% conviction that nobody can put a doubt in those 7 stories and nobody can break open that story. And that's where we can differentiate ourselves in the whole system of AYUSH to become addictive adoption. Thank you very much and open for question and answer.